My name is Emily. I created Definite Hearing as a way to increase awareness for the deaf and hard of hearing. I am hard of hearing myself. I wear hearing aids in both ears. I was diagnosed with my hearing loss at birth. I have a moderate to severe congenital, which means genetic, sensorineural hearing loss. I am so excited you're on my channel today. Today I am going to talk about how hard of hearing and deaf people can deal with masks during coronavirus. So as a hard of hearing person and as hard of hearing people in general, we all know that it's extremely hard to understand people when they are wearing masks. Now, it is one thing to hear, it is another thing to listen, and it is a whole other thing to understand. And this is where hearing loss is most difficult. People think, well, if you have hearing loss, just turn up the volume or something like that. It doesn't work that way because when sound enters our brains have to interpret it and figure out what it says, and that takes a little bit of time. And sometimes it's just really hard to understand what's being said, especially when people's mouths are covered, because we're missing out on all of these facial cues, social cues, intonations, and things like that. Not to mention just the lip shapes and lip reading in general. Masks just make it really difficult for hard of hearing people to understand what is being said. So here are some tips for my hard of hearing friends and comrades to handle communication when wearing masks. Step number one is staying calm. It is just a fact of the matter that we probably won't hear or understand people the first time they talk to us. There have been so many times during coronavirus that I have been in the store or public places and either I've been standing in an aisle with a cart and someone is trying to talk to me, whether they're trying to get back past me or trying to get to something that I'm standing in front of, and I just haven't heard them because the masks muffle what they're saying. It's just kind of like now I just go out with the expectation that I'm not gonna hear people. And I am really grateful for those people that stay calm. So step number one is stay calm yourself. It's easy to feel anxious when you realize you look up and someone has been talking to you and you have no idea what they said. So just remember to breathe. Whenever I look up, I'm like, okay, I need to breathe and say, I'm sorry, did you say something to me? And then let them respond. And short yes or no questions, I just try to ask those because it's easier to have a yes or no question than an answer that would solicit a long response that I would have no idea what they were saying. So breathing is staying focused. So stay calm, don't forget to breathe. Focus. The next one is advocate for yourself. Once they've responded, if you didn't hear them again, advocate for yourself. Say, I'm so sorry, I did not hear you. Can you please repeat that? And you may have to let them know that you're wearing hearing aids, that you have a hearing loss, or maybe you don't wear a hearing device, but just saying again, like, I didn't understand that because I cannot hear you. The next one is to be prepared. Be prepared with an alternative form of communication. This could be a pencil and paper. This could be a transcription app and basic sign language. A lot of people unfortunately don't know that, and so it's best just to carry a pen and paper or a transcription app or a remote mic if you have one to stream the sound straight from them to your hearing aids. As you advocate for yourself, don't be afraid to show your device. One difficult thing about a hearing loss is that it is considered an invisible disability, which means people can't see it. So sometimes when I tell people, I say, hey, I'm hard of hearing. I didn't understand what you said. Showing people my device increases their level of compassion and patience, at least in the situations that I have had. For example, when the COVID restrictions started lifting, I took my nieces to the museum and I was looking for the restroom. I didn't know where it was. The signage was completely unclear. And so I was just walking in a restricted area and I didn't know that. I was trying to find the bathroom. And so this janitorial lady was yelling at me. I didn't realize she was until a couple minutes later when she got my attention. She said, ma'am, where are you going? And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find the restrooms. And she said, they're back there. And I said, oh, and I could tell she was like, mad. And I realized that she had been calling me a couple times, but my brain just didn't register it because I was so focused on finding the restroom. If you're hard of hearing, you probably know what I mean, where all of a sudden you realize, oh my goodness, they called my name 5 times. I'm so sorry, but I didn't know they were talking to me. Anyway, I showed her my device and I said, I'm hard of hearing. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to disrespect you. I just could not understand that you were talking to me. And she was so sweet. She just sweetened up and was like, oh my goodness, don't worry at all. Here's the restroom. Have a great day. In general, I have noticed that people have been really nice and understanding as I've navigated this mask-ridden world now. I call it Maskageddon. And at the beginning of this year, I thought it was gonna end soon. I think we all did, and it's still going. So I hope these tips help. Just remember to stay calm, breathe, focus, advocate for yourself, Don't be afraid to show your device, and then make sure you're prepared with other means to communicate if necessary, such as a pencil and paper or a transcription app like I mentioned earlier. How have you handled communicating with masks? I would love to hear in the comments below. Do you have any good stories of communication with masks or bad stories? I would love to hear in the comments below. I could keep sharing more stories of standing in line, not realizing that a checkout line was not really a checkout line, and they were trying to tell me that the line was closed. Anyway, there was no indication of that at all. There was someone at the register, but I've had those times and they're embarrassing, and they have all these feelings and emotions that come out, and it makes you just want to like cry or just have a little like release of energy. But it's just important to remember that you're not alone in this. There are so many deaf and hard of hearing people in America that are dealing with this, and we will get through it together. And I hope that this whole coronavirus, I understand that a lot of bad has come out of it, but I also have been really impressed to see how much awareness for the deaf and hard of hearing in general has been created, because all of a sudden hard of hearing people realize how difficult it is to hear, and then they think of us that have to deal with that on a daily basis. And I've had a lot of really good conversations with hearing friends and family members about, wow, it really does take work to hear. Yes, it does. It takes work to understand, and we're all working on that and trying to find that great balance. So I hope this video helps you. I hope these tips help. I would love to hear any tips that you may have in the comments below. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making part 2 about how hearing people can help hard of hearing people communicate with masks on. So stick around, get ready to share that one with all of your hearing friends and family members. I look forward to sharing it. Have a great day. Bye.